Yes.
Stream is live.
And we are live. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Alien Investigations, a channel dedicated to the X-Files Collectible Card Game. I'm your host, Steven, and we're coming at you with another playtest for my upcoming expansion for the 5th season of X-Files. And I've got two esteemed playtesters here with me who are going to put these cards through this latest stress test and see if what I've conceived for this expansion is serviceable, mechanically sound, and completely void of any and all problematic text and everything. So I've got Guillaume over here from France. I've got Jonathan from Kentucky to thank for availing themselves on this Friday night to Oregon Games case Saturday morning to put these cards through the ringer. Gentlemen, good to see you again. You guys have both done a few play tests prior to this one. Going into this one, have you guys changed up what you've done previously? Have you designed a new deck, new team of agents? Guillaume, you go first.
Yeah, so every 2 playtests, I just redo the whole thing. So this is brand new. So in terms of agents, not the most original team, but in terms of cards that I included in my deck, I tried to include some Season 5 cards that or at least I did not use yet. And so that made for new strategies, but also required more cards from other expansions. So this might be my tallest deck in a while. I think I'm over 100 cards. And I did include at least one card from each expansion, including Blackwood.
And including our personalized expansion that we've been working on. Okay, so not all of them, but maybe next time we'll see Agent Guillaume in there. What's that?
Yeah, every expansion from the show.
Excellent. But that expansion has been play tested, so I mean, I'd say it's good to feel free to include it in the next play test that we do. Jonathan, same question for you. What was your thought process coming into this game with regards to your deck, regards to your team of agents? What card pool you decided to pull from for this one?
Well, I have actually stuck to my same team of agents. The Gunman, Holly, Pat. But I have trimmed the deck down a little bit, streamlined it a little more. It's all from this expansion. Everything's from this expansion.
Every card is from Season 5 you're using?
Every card.
Wow. Very interesting. There are some formidable cards in there, at Guillaume, as you know, from having examined these thoroughly over the past year, and of course, having play tested them more than anyone else at this point. So, you know, there are some cards that are certainly going to give you a run for your money. And I do thank Jonathan for giving it the full Monty in terms of like every card that, you know, that is going to be thrown at Guillaume is going to be from this upcoming expansion. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the course of this playtest game that we're going to do. So this is going to work just like a normal game of X-Files CCG. The first person to identify their opponents in an X-File is going to be the winner. And in this case, it's just going to signal the end of the playtest. So it's more or less we're enacting a traditional game of X-Files CCG with all the usual rules and mechanics that we normally apply. But in this case, we've got some new cards that are fan made, and I also want to thank our dear leader Dax Golden for doing the mock-ups for these cards that we're going to be using. Can't say enough about the work that he does. It is top quality, and I look forward to getting the final product from this expansion when he's able to complete them, which will obviously happen at the end of this playtesting process. So ideally, we'll have this expansion available for order later this year. That would be my goal. Summer would be nice, but we'll have to see. This is the 14th playtest. I don't think I mentioned that yet. We've done 13 playtests prior to this, so we've had some very productive ones, and we've worked out a lot of issues with a lot of cards, but there still remains to be seen whether there's more we can do. The more playtests we do, the greater likelihood we're going to uncover any and all problems with it. So that's the name of the game here. So, gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head backstage. I'm going to be taking some feverish notes, and you guys feel free to call me in if you got any questions about any of these cards that need addressing. There's a lot of nuance and ambiguity that comes in with some of these effects, and I will be able to clear that up for you. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Excellent. Well, I'll bring in your tables, and I'll head backstage, and you guys have a good game.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steven.
So you have the 3 gunmen and Holy Pattern, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. So I'm taking them out of my folder to have their stats and skills. Okay, good. And my team is 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, Hostin, Burke, and Frohiki. So we have one in common.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a good mix.
Yeah, it's like 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and the Old Man.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a team with Scully and the Old Man that would include the Season 5 agent from 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and also Hostin and Clyde Brookman, but I think it's just 21 RPs, so I'm just one. It's 1 RP more than I can afford, unfortunately.
Right.
Okay, so how do you want to decide who goes first?
I've got a quarter.
Okay.
Heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I'll investigate first. Okay. So I'll draw my 7. Spin those around because they're upside down apparently. And then I will draw my 1 freebie. And then I will generate a whopping 7 red. Generate 7 reds.
Yeah, that's a great team for res.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not going to buy any cards. I'll pass it to you to buy and sell.
Okay. Well, since it's the first turn, yeah, there are some cards that I'd like to keep, but I also need some CP, so okay. I'm going to sell these 2. So I'm going to sell Ambush for 2 and the Rashomon effect for 3, makes a total of 5, and that puts me at 10. And I'm going to purchase I'm going to purchase 2 cards. And back to you.
All right. Let's see. Well, no healing to do, no requisition. Put everybody in the field. And I will pay 1 to play Ruskin Down, Pennsylvania. It's a alien investigation 5+ or medical 5+, and it asks either a motive or result question. And I think before you bluff, I'm going to pay 3 and play lies within lies.
No, okay.
Which forces an opponent to reveal any bluffs. If your opponent has 1 or more, discard 1 at random.
All right, so I have 2 bluffs, so I have to show you the 2 bluffs, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
like
the first one is laser barrier. Nothing new there. And the other one is my 1 Blackwood card. It's attempted cover-up. So force an opposing team to make an observation 4+ skill check. If unsuccessful, the site is discarded, and your opponent must discard 1 card at random from their hand. So I have to discard 1 of them at random. So I'm putting them here in the field, both of them, and you get to decide number 1 and number 2. So 1 and 2. Which one do you want to discard?
Let's get rid of number 2.
Oh, that's laser barrier, so that's a good choice.
That worked out good.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you don't want to bluff.
No bluffs, no.
Okay. I'll move everybody to Ruskin Dam, Pennsylvania. Doing an alien investigation skill check. And my alien investigation is 6. And I need to make 5.
Yeah, so you're good to ask your question because your team can make the observation 4+ skill check, so my other bluff is useless for now. So yeah, you can ask your question.
Okay. Let's see. Well, let's go after the low-hanging fruit. Did your X-Files result death?
Well, let's see. It is not death.
It's not death. All right. And I don't believe I will be taking a game. I will discard that side.
Oh, before we leave the investigation phase, I'd like to play just one card.
Sure.
So I'd like to pay 1 to play Insanity on Rye. It's a season 4 card. Place this card on an opposing agent in the field to change 1 keyword low or independent to Insanity. This card is removed when a healing card is played on the afflicted agent.
See, Holly is the only one that has a law keyword.
Yeah, or independent.
Or independent. Oh, so you play it on anybody you want.
Yeah, so I'll just put it on Langley.
On Langley. And that's, you get rid of that with a what?
So you have to play a healing card on Langley to remove the card.
Okay. All right, I think that'll do it for me. I'm holding 6, so I'm okay card-wise.
So I think I might be good as well. Yeah, I have 5 cards, so no discard for me.
All right.
So I'm going to draw my free card, and I'm going to generate my res, which is 6, puts me at 11. And out of that, I'm going to buy I'm going to buy 4 cards and pass back to you.
Do any of your agents have the keyword of the team? I don't think.
No, they don't. Not yet. Okay. Not unless you play something to.
Yeah. Okay. I will sell Dorothy Banson for 2. And I'm not going to buy any.
Okay. So before we leave debriefing, I'm going to pay 1 to play Aura Photography from Season 4. If the team makes a Sciences 4 plus skill check, add 5 tokens to your resource pool. And they just make the Sciences 4.
Okay.
So I'm going to add 5. Puts me back to 11. And I'm going to pay 3 to play Bargaining Chip from Season 5. So that's a new one that I'm pretty excited to try out. So attach this card to a neutral agent. While the agent is involved in a side skill check, opposing players may not play any keyword, alien, or government cards, except for cards that would negate this card. This card remains in play until your opponent moves 5 tokens from their conspiracy pool to your resource pool. So I'm going to attach the bargaining chip to Krychek since he's the only one on my team with the keyword neutral. And so that's it for the briefing phase. No healing and no requisition. And I'm going to deploy everyone to the field.
Hey, Guillaume, sorry to cut in real quick. Could you tell me what was that card that you just played? I didn't quite catch it. I was distracted. One? The card you just played that you attached to Krychek?
Bargaining chip.
Okay. Thank you so much. On the plus side update to what we were working, to what was holding us up before we went live, I was able to recover the notes from the tournament that I was taking. I still have not been able to get the notes from the playtest, which is what I really, really want to recover. So on the plus side, I was able to get one of the big notes back, but not the other one.
I think the article said that it might take some time for everything to reappear again. So
hopefully, I had to go dig through my email because when you write in the notes, it when it syncs up and you'll have like a version of it saved in your email, right?
Well, I don't have that option.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do like for Gmail. But anyway, it did give me the tournament notes, but maybe, like you said, maybe it's still just updating because I'm like, well, I haven't taken notes for the tournament for a long time.
If you've been able to access that, then it means that it's not gone. So the other one are somewhere, somewhere in the cloud.
All right. Thanks so much. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
So that is for deployment, everyone in the field. And for case assignment, we are going to go to Arecibo, Puerto Rico. I'm going to pay 1 for it. And before you do anything else, I'm going to use Hostin's token to look at your hand, please.
All right. I have Kazakhstan, former Soviet Union side. Bridge of Size.
Okay.
Kill Switch.
Okay.
Unnatural Prowler. An Adversary. And Summoned by the Stars.
Okay. And what is the first one again? Because I can see, because it's hidden by the name tag, at the bottom.
Soviet Union, Kazakhstan, former Soviet Union. Now, the site.
Okay, it's the site. Okay. So I'm going to page of size. Okay, and a natural prowler. Okay, so I'll just get rid of well, I'll cast hostings token on on kill switch.
On kill switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so the site Arecibo, Puerto Rico has the keywords alien investigation or computer, affiliation or method. I assume you're not playing any face down bluffs.
No.
Right, so I'm sending, yeah. So I'm sending the whole team to the site, and we're going to be using, well, alien investigation. It's alien investigation 5+, and I currently have, I have 8 alien investigation.
Hosting makes what, 3 of that?
So Krychek has 3, Hostin has 2, Frohiki has 2, and Burke has 1.
Let's see. So the card you played on Krychek,
Yeah.
it doesn't allow keyword alien and government.
Yes, that is correct.
Unless they would negate it.
So, well, yes, unless the alien or government card specifically negates the bargain. Well, it can, if that card can negate the bargaining chip, then you can use it. Otherwise, no. Or you can give me 5 of your CP and I'll get rid of the card.
That's an event, right?
Yes.
I think I'll use Frohiki token to negate it.
Well, you can't because it's an event played on you. Yeah. Other than the fact that it's an agent's game effect, and well, but yeah, it's.
Well, I'm also CP player. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try this anyway. I want to play these cards and see how it happens. Well, if I can. Hosting, is he independent? Is that one of his?
I'm sorry, you sound cut out. So is hosting what?
Independent.
Yes, it is. Yes, he is.
So I'm going to pay 1 to play Summoned by the Stars, and that play this card on an opposing agent in the field to change 1 keyword law art indent abductee. This card is removed when a healing card is played on the afflicted agent.
Okay. I'm going to use Frohiki's token to negate that event.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that you have Bridge of Size, and yeah, I don't want hosting to be abducted. So.
Yes. All right, that's it. That was my play.
All right, so it's either an affiliation or method. Is your affiliation alien?
My X-Files affiliation is not alien.
Okay. All right, so this site is discarded, and I have 7 cards in my hand for debriefing.
I have 4.
All right, so your turn.
All right, I will draw my 1 free. I will generate my 7 red. I will buy 3 cards. And then I will pass it to you to buy and sell.
Okay, so I'm going to sell the shotgun for 6, puts me at 13. And I'll purchase 2 cards. Yeah. Or 3 cards. And back to you.
All right. So I'm going to pay 1 to play Kazakhstan, former Soviet Union.
Okay.
It's Alien Investigation 5 plus or Observation 5, and it's a method or result.
Okay. So I have 1. Yeah, I have 1 bluff for that site. Or 2 bluffs. 2 bluffs? Yeah, 2 bluffs for that site. All right, hold on. Final word.
Okay. Before I Look at those.
No, hold on. I'm still deciding if
Oh,
I'm doing one
sorry.
or two. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, one bluff.
Let's use Langley's token to get rid of that.
All right, immediately. Okay, so the bluff was no one believes you.
Okay. I'm going to pay 4. Actually, no, what I'm not. I'm going to wait. Let's not do that. All right, I'm sending everybody to Kazakhstan, former Soviet Union. We're doing alien investigation 5+ again, and I've got 6.
All right. I'm going to pay 3 to play a face up bluff. I'm going to play Dr. Stroman. Play to change a side prerequisite to medical 3+.
I can't do anything with it.
Okay.
That will stop it. Now that we're in debriefing, I am going to pay 4 to play witness Dr. Zuckerman.
Okay. That's always a useful card to have in the hospital.
Yeah, if I had been smart, I would have played him before case investigation. I could have used him to remove that keyword changing Ollie this turn. But now I've got to wait till next and hope he's not thrown out of there. And that's it. I've got 6 cards.
Oh, but if you want to remove the afflicted token, the afflicted keyword, the agent has to be in the hospital.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, at the end, it says from an agent in the hospital.
Place this witness in the hospital. Once per turn during your healing phase, use this card to gain one of the following effects. Heal 1 additional point of damage. Remove 1 game effects token. Or remove an afflicted keyword, cancer, insanity from in the hospital. Yep. So I have to move him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Good deal.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have 7 cards in my hand.
I pass it to you, sir.
All right, so I'm going to draw my free card. I'm going to generate my res, which is 6. And I'm going to buy 3 cards. Yes. Let's go with 3 cards. Okay, and back to you.
All right, I'm going to sell Kill Switch and Gibson Prey and Murray Psychiatric Hospital for a total of 8. And I will buy 5. And I pass it back to you.
All right. No healing, no requisition. Everyone stays in the field. I'm going to play reading the sign. Play on the team in the field. If the team makes an occult investigation 4+ skill check, they may take 2 CP from their opponent's pool and add them to my resource pool. So I have, well, hosting alone makes that skill check.
So 2 from...
Yeah, 2 from your conspiracy pool, and I'm adding the 2 to my resource. And I'm going to for case assignment, I'm going to play 2 sides or 1 side. Okay, I'm going to play 2 sides. I'm going to play 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 for 2, and I'm also going to play 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Texas for 1. So 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 has, well, it's alien investigation and motive, and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 is occult investigation or subterfuge, affiliation, and method. And if I ask if the method is subterfuge, the skill check prerequisite is 4. So 2 sides.
I'm going to play 1 more on each.
Okay.
I'm going to play this one that I've turned sideways on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬,
Okay.
and this one that's long way on the other.
Okay, I'm going to send 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. No, to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, and I'm going to send Burke and Hostin to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. And I'm going to play. Well, okay, no, we are still in the case assignment. No, sorry. So we are in the investigation phase. So I'm sending 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and Burke and Hostin to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. And I'm going to play teamwork. Play this card on any team consisting of no more than 2 agents during the investigating phase when they are sent to investigate a site. You may add a number of tokens to your resource pool equal to the agent's total res value. So I'm going to play teamwork on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 on their team, so that card is free and it allows me to add 4 to my RP pool. And
Very nice.
yeah, that's a nice one to have. And I'm going to, okay, let's start the investigation at 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, Texas. So it's occult investigation or subterfuge. I'm going to use occult investigation, and I'm going to ask if I will be asking if the method is subterfuge. So the skill check prerequisite is 4+, and I currently have 6 occult investigation. Let's see the bluff.
Human encroachment. That one's not evidence collection or observation, is it?
Was it? Human encroachment.
Yeah, it's play to increase any computer collection or observation stuff.
Yeah, no, it does not. Yeah, no, it does not apply here.
Yeah, it's a bluff, but it's a real bluff.
Okay, perfect. So it's affiliation. No, well, it's method. So is your method subterfuge?
Oh, my method is subterfuge.
Oh, wow.
Nailed it.
Well, thanks to that specific addition to the question, yeah. Okay. So it is subterfuge. Okay. Choléra. All right, so that's it for 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, Texas. And we'll move to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. It's alien investigation 4+, and I currently have 5.
All right, this bluff is mad scientist. Play this card to gain one of the following effects. Change the side prerequisite to 3+, which I don't think you have 3+, do you?
Yeah.
Or I can negate one keyword scientist card, or I can increase the cost of all RP cards played at this site by 2. Given that you currently can't do a scientist 3 plus, I will pay 5 and change the prerequisite to a scientist 3 plus.
Yeah, that's the disadvantage of splitting up the team. So yeah, unfortunately, I only have 2 sciences. That's too bad.
It's still not a bad play. You still got a question. You got
Yeah.
the right answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. There is one card I really wanted to play, but now I can't. Well, just have to wait for another turn. And nothing that can help me in my discard pile, fortunately. Well, no, there's nothing I can do for that, unfortunately. So that one is a bust. And moving into debriefing, I only have... Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to pay to play Great Pattern Search, and I'm going to retrieve my shotgun. And yeah.
That's
yeah,
a good way to get some CP.
Yeah, I mean, Great Pattern Search is useful, but it's like it's a case of you have a card in your hand, and then maybe it can be really useful, but in maybe 1 or 2 or 3 turns, whereas it can be useful now. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now. All right, and I have 7 cards in my hand, so passing it to you.
I've got 5. So good. All right, I'll draw my 3. Then I will generate 7 reds. And I will buy 5. Oops.
So, okay, well, big surprise, I will sell the shotgun for 6. And I will also sell Helen Kaminsky for 3. That's a total of 9, puts me at 16. Oh, come on. And let's see. I will buy 5 cards. And back to you.
Okay. See, I don't have any healing to do. I don't have any repositioning to do. During this deployment phase, I am going to move Holly to the hospital.
No, it's Langley who has the
Oh, is it? Oh, it's Langley. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me see if I still want to do that then. Yeah, I'll move Langley to the hospital. And then I'm going to play some cards before I do anything else. I'm going to pay 2. Well, if it'll let me, to play 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Don't you have enough phrase already?
Is there ever enough?
Yeah, no, never enough phrase.
I will put him on buyers. And I will pay 2 more to play a beckoning offer. And I can either use this, I can put it in the bureau to prevent an opponent from exchanging tools while this card's in play, or I can put it on an agent to allow them to contribute the res to the conspiracy instead of the res. And I'm going to use that under 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
I think that that is the first time we've seen that card played. That's nice.
Good. Hopefully it'll get more than just on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, and I'll actually get to use it to contribute to the conspiracy pool.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any other cards like it I want. No, why not? I'll pay 2 more to play Dark Visions and attach that to an agent with 1 RP token. That token may be used to pay for word observation cards. I'll put that in Holly.
Okay. So in which phase are we in?
I haven't played a side yet, so
Okay.
I am kind of between requisition and deployment, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I'm in deployment. I've sent 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 to the hospital, but I haven't played a side yet.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, I didn't quite catch what card you attached to Holly. Could you reiterate that for me?
Yeah, it's Dark Visions.
The sound just cut out. I didn't hear. What was that again?
Dark Visions.
Dark Visions. Okay, thanks so much.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll finally pay 1 to play Fells Point Industrial Park, Baltimore, Maryland. It's a computer 5 or subterfuge 5 plus, and it asks method or result question.
Okay, so I have I have 2 bluffs for that site.
All right, I'm sending everybody but Langley because he's in the hospital.
Okay, so Oli is not going, right? Okay.
Langley's.
Oh, yeah, he's in the hospital, yeah. But the other 3 are going.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we're doing a hospital skill check. A hospital
Computer.
skill check.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and I make 8.
So the first bluff is shootout at 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. It cost 4 but 3 since it was face down. So the effect is 1 agent, my choice, receives damage equal to their L or C value and is afflicted with the keyword insanity. The afflicted keyword remains until a healing card is played on the agent. And then this card is free if I discard a government adversary from my hand, which I don't have, so I paid the 3 for it. So unless you can negate it, I'm going to play it on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 because he's the one with the most long range, and he will receive 2 damage and the keyword insanity.
Okay. What else you got?
And the other one is Sheriff Daniels. I'm going to pay 2 for it since it was face down to change the side prerequisite to subterfuge 3+.
I don't think I have armor. I got 2 subterfuge there. I don't have anything to negate it.
Perfect.
And I've only got subterfuge 2.
Yeah, thanks to Langley. Well, to me at least, thanks to Langley being in the hospital.
Yeah, he's got subterfuge of 1. I think that'll do it.
All right, so for debriefing, I have 8 cards in my hand. And I'm going to discard Jon Mostow from my hand, and I now have 7 cards.
I have 1, 2, 3. I have 8. I'm going to discard Unnatural Prowler.
Okay.
Now I've got 7.
All right, so I'm drawing my free card. I'm going to generate my 6th phrase, which puts me at 17. And I'm going to buy 2 cards and pass it to you.
I'm going to sell the rational effect and Louis Esakos for 5. And I'm going to buy 3. I did that on the wrong thing. I did it on the research instead of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
So that should be 7. And that was 3. There we go. Okay. And now I'm still going to buy 3. And I pass it back to you.
All right, so I'm going to. So we are still in briefing phase. So I'm going to pay 6 to play Nurse Owens. During the briefing phase, place 1 token on every agent you control that normally starts with at least 1 token. This token is usable in the same way that starting tokens can be used. So I'm going to place a token on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and on Hostin. Place 1 token on equation. Well, I was convinced that it said, it's the first time I've actually played Nurse Owens, and I was convinced it said that it cannot take the card above the number of allowed tokens. So, Steven, I could not use it to put another token on Burke, could I? Steven?
I don't remember.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. What's the question?
The original.
Yeah, so I've played Nurse Owens. It's the first time I've actually played her. Hostin and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 did not have their tokens anymore, so I put 1 back on them. But Burke still had his token. But I thought Nurse Owens.
Oh, I think you can, because it doesn't specify.
Yeah.
So I think our general consensus is that if they still have their token, you can. I think we're just treating it as.
So
I think we're treating that as the lack of information on that card is probably. I'm guessing that it was probably an oversight that they just forgot when they were rushing through all those Truth Is Out There edition exclusive cards, and they weren't play tested probably, or if they were, very minimal, and some of that finer text got left off. Forgive me, I'm just pulling up Nurse Owens just to give it a fine look-see. Briefing phase, 1 token on every agent you control that normally starts with at least 1 token. This token, yeah. I mean, yeah, it really, since it's not going to say you can't add it to, because is there another card that does specify that you can't, right?
Yeah,
Which
I can't
one?
remember, but I think there is one that says this cannot take a card above the number of tokens allowed. I know that there is one, and I thought.
Oh, the mailman, right? Is the mailman, right?
Maybe.
You give yeah, that might be it. But I mean, they made a point of specifying it on that one, and that's a very cheap bluff.
Yeah.
So
maybe because they realized that Nurse Owens could be used to put like immediately 2 tokens on hosting maybe, but yeah, or I'll put 2 tokens on Bergs. Why not? First time playing Norso.
Yeah. So I say go with it. I don't think anyone's going to object to that.
All right. Thank you, Steven. All right. So no healing, no requisition. For deployment, everyone stays in the field. And I'm going to use Hostin's new token to look at your hand, please.
I had Lisa, however you say her name, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Okay. Yeah, witness. Right. Okay.
Yeah, witness. Shayna Berkowitz, another witness. Esther Narian and Visigoth, another witness. Still have Bridge of Sighs. Fox Huntress, adversary. The Skinhead Man, adversary. Courage in a Bottle, bluff. And Stonewall, event.
And you have 4 conspiracy. Okay.
Can you see those okay?
Yeah, I'm looking at the cards on my computer. That way I can make sure I can check the keywords. Okay, 9. Okay, so no. And okay, so I'm going to cast the token on Courage in a Bottle.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. So for case assignment, hold on, can I do this? Computer. Yeah, okay. So for case assignment, I'm going to pay 1 to go to the Tunguska Siberian Forest, and I'm also going to pay 1 to go to the Fells Point Industrial Park where you just were. So 2 sites. The Tunguska Forest, alien investigation or subterfuge, affiliation result. And Fells Point, computer, subterfuge, method or result.
Well, no bluffs.
Okay, so I'm going to send Burke and Frohike to the industrial park, and Krychek and Hostin are going to go to the forest in Tunguska. I'll start the investigation with the industrial park. It's computer 5+, and I currently have 7 computer.
We can't really do anything with that.
All right. So I already know your method, so I'm going to ask a result question. Okay, well, is your result death?
My result is not death.
Okay. So that's it for that side. And for the second investigation, so it's alien investigation 5+, and I have just 5.
See, what are the keywords on there?
Affiliation result, alien investigation, and subterfuge.
Nope, I guess I can't do anything with that. Unless I just
So-
want to give you a question.
All right, so it's affiliation or result. Is your result insanity?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to pay 1 to play Les Saboteurs. Play after a team containing 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 successfully investigates a site with alien investigation or subterfuge, and bargaining chip is attached to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. You may guess the identity of your opponent's X-file without incurring a penalty question. And I'm going to ask, is your X-Files Colonel Wharton?
It is not.
Okay, well, I know who you are now. if I did not make any mistake, at least, but
Well, you had to with those correct guesses already. You'd have to be very close.
so the one card that I really wanted to be able to play was this one, Les Saboteurs, so which is why I had bargaining chip. I was
Yeah, I looked at that too. It's in, I haven't. I looked at it. Of course, I can't use it because I don't have 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. But I read it and I was like, oh, that's cool if you can get that to work out.
yes, it is situational, but if you manage to pull it off, yeah.
Yeah. The final version is going to be a little less situational than that. But I do want to applaud Guillaume for playing that. It basically is a combo effect because he first had to equip the bargaining chip card to one of his agents, which he did several rounds ago. And then the payoff comes here when this card gets played to get that that question, that identity question, without incurring a penalty, which, as we just saw, paid off beautifully because Guillaume did guess incorrectly, but at the same time, he was able to narrow down it to one X-file, which we'll hopefully find out before too long, unless Jonathan makes a surprise comeback, but it's looking pretty good. But yeah, kudos on playing that card, Guillaume. Yeah, so and the the cost you feel for the card is adequate. It's only 1, but you feel like with a card that's somewhat situational as this, if it's appropriate compared to, like, say, the blackmail card, which only requires like a bureaucracy 4 skill check to do the same thing.
Well, the thing is, with the bureaucracy 4+ skill check, you at the beginning of the game, you know if your team is actually going to be able to do that skill check or not. Most of the time, I have 2 copies of the bargaining chips and 2 copies of Les Saboteurs in my deck just to make sure that I could pull off that combo. And I was lucky enough to draw bargaining chip at the beginning of the game, but I had Les Saboteurs since, I don't know, for a few turns, and I failed my previous alien investigation site, so I could not play it. at that time. So I think like one CP is good because it is situational. You do have to draw the cards in the right order, and you also have to be able to investigate the site. So yeah, I feel like, and it's only on CryCheck, even in the new version, correct?
Neutral agent.
Okay.
In the which there's not that many neutral agents. CryCheck, Blevins, are Skinner. Well, Skinner's neutral. Yeah. So there's like 3 neutral agents in season, or I'm sorry, in the commercially released cards. Well, no, Patterson in 1013 is neutral as well. And then there's a couple in season 4. I don't think there's any in this expansion if I don't have the full agents in front of me, but no neutral agents in this one. But yeah, so yeah, I mean it's I figure we'll just kind of like try not to be as restrictive to limit it to one particular agent, even though it is thematic. But neutral agent still would thus include CryCheck. Yeah,
I think if anything, it might be the bargaining chip whose cost might be a little too low. I don't know, because I haven't paid really any attention, but yeah, Jonathan did not play any alien or government cards, but it's like a pretty good like bulletproof card for any of the alien and government cards. So like for 3 RP, I know that I'm protected against those cards, including bluffs, agents, and events. And it also allows me to play the Saboteur for just 1. So
well, and originally I was going to change, before you played that card, I was going to change the keyword on CryCheck and then use bridge of size on him. So it did prevent that.
So you think the cost of bargaining chip could stand to be reduced, you think?
I don't know, because it is limited to neutral agents. So we don't see them during every games. But if you do have a neutral agent, I think this, basically, even if you're just talking about opponents, it saves you from 2 out of the 5 types of adversaries, plus all the bluffs, etc. Basically, in this expansion, it saves CryCheck and basically my whole team from any of the abduction cards, for instance, which is good.
Yeah,
for
they're usually alien.
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe 4 would not be too high a cost, because we've seen some cards that it does an effect for 3 or 4, but it's just for 1 turn and then you discard the card. Whereas for the bargaining chip, it remains in play. Or maybe we could keep the cost at 3 and say that, but there is no room on the card for that. Maybe you could just it's a resource, but you have to discard it to negate 1 alien or government card played by your opponent. So that way it protects you for 1 card, but not for the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean,
trying to squeeze that text in there would be a bit much. I might be just in favor just to increase the cost just by 1.
Yeah.
It might wind up being CP fodder more often in that event, but at least it would be a fair price, though.
And I mean, also it depends, because I drew it at the beginning of the game, so it's more useful than if you draw it during one of the, I don't know, the second to last turn. Like at that point, you're not going to play it; you're just going to sell it for CP. So it also depends on when you actually play it during the game.
Yeah, of course, when it comes up. So let's look at so the effect itself is that it's limiting the ability to play alien and government keyword cards for the remainder until this card is negated. Right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Or until your opponent pays you basically 5.
Which, they don't really want to necessarily do that unless the crux of their bureau deck, the CP portion of their bureau deck, is primarily consisting of those 2 keywords. We previously had, now as far as precedent goes, we only have Maintain deniability from season 4, but that's just for one round though, and that's one type of that's one keyword, not two.
And it
So
can be
there's a
used
bit
on
of
any agent,
comparison.
It can be used on any team.
Yeah, there's no limit, there's no restriction. Sure. Yeah.
We could also make it one
Because
word instead of two. You know, either
That-
just alien or just government instead of both. That way, then it's not as powerful.
Oh, you one key take off one of those two keywords, you think?
Yeah, you can do that. That's another way to either, you know, if you don't want to increase the cost or you don't want it to be so powerful that it interferes with so many cards. Because like Guillaume said, as long as that card's in play, you're already basically negating 2 of 5 types of adversaries.
or bluffs or even events.
Yeah.
Events too.
Yeah.
What do you think, Guillaume?
I mean, theoretically, I could have used 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬's token to get rid of it on my RP turn, I guess.
I mean, we've already got maintain
No.
deniability, which prevents government cards from being played for just, again, for one turn only. So if we say, like, we remove alien, then it's just limited to just government alone, right? That's, I mean...
And we did this a lot with, you know, this stuff was a lot with equipment, too. You know, you get to use it one time and discard it.
I mean, I know that looking at the text, I mean, if we wanted to go with the discard route, I mean, if we change the text, there might be room for it. Attach discard to neutral agent, while the agent is involved in a side skill check. Discard to negate any one alien or government card. This card remains in play until your opponent moves 5 tokens to your resource pool.
Do you feel like that would be enough of an incentive to...
I mean, it's basically it's basically like 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, for instance. You pay 4, and basically you discard him to negate one evolutionary or primordial adversary. Whereas this one, you pay 3 to negate any one alien or government card. So it's even more powerful than... Also, it's limited to neutral agents, but if you look at effects, it's more powerful than 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 because it encompasses every CP card with those keywords, as opposed to just adversaries.
And multiple cards, not just one time.
Well, if we change it to discard it to negate one card, then I think it's still useful because you know that you are at least protected. You know that your opponent has to play and pay for at least one of those cards. So you are, I think it might be good.
Well, it's a little less faithful to the events of the episode going that route with the negate option. Because the idea here is like, I've got a bargaining chip here. You syndicate, you can't touch me right now. You know,
they just make it cost more.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it's the same thing. Like you have that card, you cannot attack the team with government or alien cards unless you agree to pay from your conspiracy pool first.
I also don't want to have to squeeze the keyword negate onto that card. If you notice, there's so little room for negate on there.
I mean, if we look at sites, for instance, we have sites with alien investigation,
there is
the occult, and we still find room for that. So
somehow we do, but there's 1, 2, 3,
and
4.
You know, I forget that boy's name, Malchik or something like. It's like 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 eventually gives him up. Like he doesn't keep him for the remainder of the show. So at some point he's.
Marita stole him from him, but
Well, we have several options, and we don't have to decide. Like
it's like neither. Like none's really like jumping out at me. The other thing actually just occurred to me, and I don't know if we need to be more, because gosh, do I not want to be more hyper specific, especially when we've got a card with this much text going on. the opposing player may not play any keyword or government cards. Now, the way that's worded is it's not just like limit, like you can't play like keyword or government, alien or government cards on teams containing that agent. It's just period.
It just says while the agent is involved in the site skill check. So if
just while the agent is involved. Okay, you're yeah, and I guess there would be no reason for the opposing player to play an alien or government card that would not be directed at that team, right?
There are 2 instances this game where I split up my teams to investigate 2 sites at once, sites. So while Burke and Frohiki, for instance, were investigating the industrial complex, then at that point, just would have played government or alien cards on that team. But on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬's team, no. But
okay,
all right. If you split your agents, your opponent is free to play those cards.
Yeah, depending on like how you decide which site you want to investigate first, I guess. Okay, well, anyway, I don't want to hold up the game too much longer, but yeah, we got some options to consider. Increase the cost, as Jonathan threw out, remove one of the 2 keyword possibilities. We also looked at changing the ability to
discard to a one-time thing, like.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm interested in a negate option, because I feel like we've seen so much negate. Like maybe there's some other effect we can maybe consider aside from a negate effect, but there's options there. So there's a few possibilities, something to mull over. But hey, this is great because like before that we really hadn't had anything come into question for this game. So at least there's something to mull over in the meantime. So anyway, I'll let you guys get back to it.
Okay, so I think we were in debriefing.
Yes.
And I have 6 cards in my hand.
I have 8, and I think I'm going to burn courage in a bottle.
Okay. So
that would really be a bad thing to give up a question at this point. So then it comes to me.
Right.
All right. I'll draw my 3 cards.
And I'm going to pay 3 to play Blight immediately.
Well, that's not good. I put 2 of those in this deck, and I have not drawn them the whole time. All right. So from there, I'm not getting red.
I mean, that is the perfect time to play it on your team, because you've been swimming in RPs for the whole game. So I was like, even if I play it, like Jonathan has more than 12 RPs, so no point in playing it. But
I will move. Let's see. So I've got no Langley's insanity is healed.
all right. So we're still in briefing though, right? As I have installed my cards.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you're not buying any card?
All I have, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna buy 2. I pretty much got to go for broke at this point.
I'm going to sell the 2-Lux video camera for 5 and my second copy of Les Saboteurs for 1. That's 6. Puts me at 9. And yeah. And I'm going to okay, I'm also going to sell Agent Sarah 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. I don't know, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 for 3. And I'm going to buy five cards. And back to you.
So Langley's going to be healed of his insanity. Nothing to requisition. Langley will come out of the hospital and join everybody else in the field. And I will do my last resource to play University of Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana. Evidence collection 5 plus or sciences 5 plus. That's a motive or result question.
All right, so I'm going to play one bluff on that side. So you said it was evidence collection and what?
Sciences.
Okay. Okay, so one bluff on that side.
All right, I'm sending everybody. Let's see it.
Okay, so the bluff is call troubles. I'm going to pay 2 for it. So you can only send 2 agents to the site. Your choice.
Well, it doesn't matter because I won't have enough. Let me check something. Well, doesn't matter because I don't have any RP.
All right, so debriefing, I have 6 cards in my hand. All right, you know what? No.
I have 9, so I'm going to burn 3. Get rid of bridge size, Stonewall, and the skinhead man. Wait a minute. That's one more I need to. You already knew I had Stonewall, so I'll keep that. And I pass it to you.
Okay, so I'm drawing my free card, generating my 6 res. Puts me at 12. And I'm going to buy 4 cards. Yeah. 4, 5. 5 cards.
All right, I got to go broke on this one. Selling Bobby Red. Lisa Choki or whatever her name is. Shanna Berkowitz and Astronair. That's 9. That's 17. So that takes me up to 21. All right.
Okay,
We'll buy 8.
Okay, so no healing, no requisition. Everyone stays in the field. And for case assignment, we are going to Fairfax County. Oh, no, hold on. No, we're going to the Department of Defense in Washington, D.C. It costs 1. So the prerequisite is alien investigation or bureaucracy, and the keywords are, well, the question is affiliation or motive. So alien investigation, bureaucracy, affiliation, motive. Are there any bluffs you'd like to play?
Yeah, I'm going to play 1.
All right. And before we go to investigation phase, I'm going to pay 2 to play maintain deniability, which we were just talking about. For the remainder of this turn, your opponent may only play keyword government cards. Moving to the investigation phase, I'm going to send everyone to the site and be using alien investigation, and I currently have 8 alien investigation.
This bluff. Attach this card to an agent at this site. The agent is afflicted with the keyword traitor and may only contribute subterfuge and combat skill checks until this card is removed. Discard this card when the agent is part of a team that successfully investigates the site.
Right, so what are the keywords on that card?
Government is a keyword. Does it apply since it was already in play?
Well, since you haven't paid for it yet, so it was not in play. So, but you can only play. You may only play keyword government cards, so that's good for.
Oh, it is. So it's good. Yeah, it is.
But,
card. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but you cannot play government cards thanks to bargaining chip.
So I can't play any cards?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Okay. Now we,
yeah. You really shoehorned him into like that box there. He can't play anything now. Oh wow.
Yeah, it did not occur to me when I put maintain deniability. Usually I put it in my deck when I include season 4 cards because it's a good one. But when I drew it, I was like, so it basically Jonathan cannot play anything now.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play cards. I'll go ahead and play one because it's a government keyword, but you place it next to your X-File, so you don't play it on the team.
Yeah, so that
you can play it. Like after this wraps up. But yeah, after the investigation wraps up, that's fine. One other thought. I mean, I'm still mulling over, but in the time that since I was last up here, I had one thought about this combo effect. Guillaume, what do you think about adjusting Le Saboteur to say that discard the bargaining chip to guess the identity of your opponent's X-File without incurring a penalty question, so that there's a point where the bargaining chip does get discarded, and that's when you ask the identity question per Le Saboteur. What do you think?
I think that's good, but if Le Saboteur does not come up until later in the game, you've still benefited for a long time from the chip. So
yeah, that's true. I know it's like trying to find an end for what it is a resource card. The bargaining chip is. So
I mean, we could do that anyway on Le Saboteur. Like it would still be good. Like if you haven't had to get rid of bargaining chip at that point, you play Le Saboteur and then you get rid of it. That prevents you from playing Le Saboteur a second time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think for Le Saboteur, it's good. Yeah, just say discard it to ask a question without incurring a penalty question.
Yeah, it's kind of a callback to the taped intelligence card in the Work a Deal event of 1013, right? Because at that point, the taped intelligence does get discarded.
Yeah, but also if you think about it, I think doesn't the taped intelligence it adds to the bureaucracy skill or something, but it also said that government adversaries get
so there's a bit of a benefit to getting rid of that thing.
I mean,
no one ever plays that card anyway for that reason. But anyway, just an idea that I thought of just in the few minutes since I was last up here. But figure I'd throw that out there. But at the same time, though, to make, I don't know, to make bargaining, does it take away from the appeal a little bit of bargaining chip when it's like previously, as it currently stands, you can play Le Saboteur twice, unless you like grid pattern search it or something. You can play it twice if you get both copies of the card, in the course of the game, and you get 2 identity questions without a penalty question being incurred. So I don't know if taking away that second option is a deterrent. I wouldn't think too much, right?
No, I think it's pretty powerful at any point, and especially at the end of the game, to be able to ask a question without incurring a penalty question. That's pretty powerful. So if it's just a one-time thing, it's perfectly fine as it is. It's strong enough.
Okay. So I'm not gonna like make that a like for Le Saboteur. I'm not gonna definitely put that in, but it's looking like it's a good possibility. But we also have to continue to further consider what we might do with the bargaining chip effect, and if depending on what we do there, that might affect how we look at the Le Saboteur cards. But again, one possibility is to update the Le Saboteur effect for that. So we'll have that as a maybe in there, but we'll see. Anyway, carry on, guys.
Hey, Guillaume, what's the words on the bargaining chip?
Alien investigation, subterfuge, resource, event.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really do anything else.
So I can ask either an affiliation or motive. So I'll ask, is your affiliation primordial?
Let me check this real quick. Yeah, because I can't play adversaries either. It is primordial.
All right. So are you Sheriff Tom Arens?
I am.
And congratulations to Guillaume on winning that playtest. Job well done. Very, very much Guillaume in his usual form, as I'm used to seeing him whenever I square off with him. Very calculated, very methodical with his plays. It's it's why it's always a joy to go toe to toe against you, Guillaume, because I always feel like when I do win, it feels decidedly earned. So bravo on that victory. You really made a strong case for revising the effect for bargaining chip to not be that the opposing player cannot play alien or government cards by maintaining deniability on top of that. You just like, oh my god, now I don't really want that effect anymore because it's like what happened. Jonathan could not play a single card.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be able to say, okay, we're playing with every expansion, and you have to have those cards come up. But yeah, when maintain deniability came into my head, I was like, well, basically now Jonathan cannot play, and unless you have any experiments that can negate an event. Otherwise, it's like you cannot play any cards for the remainder of that turn. So
right,
yeah, but if bargaining chip had been discarded before, or even with Le Saboteur, then maintain deniability would still have been useful, but it would not have completely stopped Jonathan. So
he would have been able to play that the traitor bluff on you at that point, which would have been great. I wanted to see that because I don't think I have seen that card get maybe I have, but I don't have my notes anymore because I lost them. But I don't feel like I recall seeing the traitor card in there.
No,
we'll have to.
We haven't played with the traitor mechanics yet. One other thing, and you might have. I really wanted for that game to be able to pull off the bargaining chip Le Saboteur. So I'm glad that one is done for me. I also wanted to pull off the insanity cards. So I had some of the bluff. I had the season 5 bluff that allows you to send agents with the keyword insanity to the hospital, and I also had the 2 season 3 adversaries that are free if they are played on a insanity card. I had John Mosta.
Oh yeah.
And I had both of them in my hand at the same time. But Jonathan, your team was always strong in RRC. Well, at least those adversaries' health is only 4, and your team had 5. So even though those cards would have been freed for me to play, it would have been useful.
Why?
Useless.
Yeah. Those are some very weak 10-13 adversaries in the sense that they get. I mean, granted, they weren't that strong in the episode, but still, to be like, you're rarely going to get a good opportunity to play either of those two, unless it's a situation where the agents are divided up at multiple sites, which happens. It just seems like whenever those cards are in my hand, my opponent is never dividing them up and going to multiple sites. It always seems like I'm just waiting and waiting. I'm like, I want to play Jon Mostow on so bad, but I can't because he's just going to get destroyed in the long range round, But then again, that's why combat cards exist. But we need actually a greater pool of combat cards to kind of cover more of those adversaries that may Primordial. I don't feel like you can actually even play a card that's going to keep Jon Mostow from getting destroyed in long range. Off the top of my head, I can't recall one that would do that. It needs to have some other cards and some other combat cards to help out those lesser adversaries. Anyway, so great game. Jonathan, what's your takeaway from this latest playtest? Any thoughts aside? We've talked bargaining chip to death, and still we don't have a decisive decision on that. But any of the other cards that came up during the game, or cards that you saw while building your deck that maybe you had a question or wanted to bring up at this point in the game?
Well, I don't know. I'm definitely sure on bargaining chip that it either needs to be discarded once or one of those keywords needs to go away. That's for sure. One of those two.
Yeah. I'm inclined to do something with the effect now after seeing that last display. It's got to be a resource card, right? Because you got to keep that card attached to the agent for that time when that Le Saboteur card does come up. So you need to have that keyword resource in there. So it becomes a question of if we limit it to, say, the opposing player may not play keywords of one particular type as opposed to the current 2. If we limit it to government, you could still get boxed in the way you did. But
I think it's good that it's alien and government. It fits the episode.
Exactly.
And it fits with the theme of the season 5 overall. So it's good with that expansion. So I'd say keep the 2 keywords, but find a way to limit it somehow, either by increasing the cost, or I think 4 is the maximum that I would be willing to pay for it. Because if you say 5, then it just becomes CP fodder.
No one will ever play it at that point.
Even though
when you really think the end road is, it is preventing those 2 types of cards from getting played for a crux of the game potentially, depending on when it comes up, which is
but it's also
good.
We focus on the fact that it prevents your opponent from playing 2 types of cards, but there are still 3 other types of cards that your opponent.
And even the cards that don't even occasionally there's just a card that says Phenomena, it's not doesn't have an affiliation attached to it or anything. So there's still possibilities. Primordial, Evolutionary, Occult still, but but a lot of the, I guess there's a strong amount of the cards in this deck that are geared towards government, especially Alien to an extent as well, because of those key mythology episodes that are in that season. But that's not to say there's some great occult adversaries in here. I was hoping you guys would have played Chinga, or something.
I had the combo ready to go.
Yeah.
And I never even saw the adversary.
Yeah.
What is it? If you play it with, I remember now. But there's a card in there that allows It eliminates activator requirements so that you can play Chinka on any.
Oh yeah, the
talismanic forces.
Talismanic forces, very good.
I
That
had
is it.
And I had it in there.
Speaking of those, because I lost my notes, let me just go and check to see if my backup on my phone has, or the notes that separate notes that I set aside here, because I may want to recall. Okay, so we're replacing the keyword. We're replacing the keyword. We're replacing the term in addition to alternately for those three bluffs.
Yes, that makes them more useful. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just counting on your opponent having played the right side in order to be able to play that bluff. So yeah, no.
Mm-hmm. I mean, given the is that the case for all three of them? Well, no, because they all have like activator. Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't say there's a good chance like that one of those three skills or site prerequisites is gonna apply in that case. Sometimes it may be more likely, but not always. Especially when you're building your deck, you have to take that in consideration. But yeah, all right. So alternately makes it so that you can use either effect on those two bluffs. Also, Jonathan, I forgot to say I really liked your use of Mad Scientist tonight. I was a fan of that. Was a good play.
Right?
Yeah. Still okay with the cost of that card, considering you paid 5.
Yeah,
Still okay with that?
Yeah, it gives you 3 options to stop what you need to stop the way you need to stop it. So theoretically, if you've been able to make the sciences 3, I used it to decrease value agents so that maybe then you could make it. So it's
I actually have a note, on the card itself that I put. I don't think I wrote it down because, again, I lost my notes tonight. So I only have the notes on the card. It says, okay, so the last part of the card, increase the cost of all RP cards played at this site by 3 instead of 2. And then I have or, and the cost is circled. And I think that or might be lowering the cost. I think. But again, I lost my notes, so I can't. I'm a little unsure. But anyway, I'll just bring it up here so you guys can see what my notes are. And maybe this might recall. I don't know if not the right one. All right. So here, if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like you were considering increasing it by 2, 3, or changing the cost. One or the other.
I think decreasing the cost of that card, since it has 3 possible effects, I think 5, that's good. And if you play it face down, it's only 4. So I think the cost is good. Let's see. We have some of those season 3 bluffs that actually you can play on sites to increase the cost of cards played at that site.
It was probably one of the playtests with Nathan where this came up, and I just, again, for anyone who's watching, I've taken feverish notes on all these playtests, but some issue with the Notes app on my iPad caused them all to get lost, and I have yet to be able to recover them. So it's really frustrating to have all those notes not be available to me, except for what little of it I translated over to my phone. So it's,
if you look at philosophical question, it costs 4 CP to increase the cost of all resource cards played by 2. So 4 CP to increase the cost by 2 RP. So I think we should
the option for other effects.
there's still like 3 possibilities to choose from in there. So that's kind of where I'm a little reluctant to lower it. I mean, consider the fact that there's that card video signal in the Scully set that costs 6, and that's just send an agent to the hospital. Here you're getting like 3 effects you can choose from that depend on, okay, so this is what my opponent's doing. Yeah, I got to go with the keyword negate sciences because changing it to science 3s is not going to work, you know?
Obviously, I didn't think it was unreasonable. I put 2 copies of it in here.
Okay. So how do you feel, though, Guillaume, let me throw this at you. How do you feel about keeping the cost at 6?
Yeah.
But the last part of the effect is increased the cost to 3 by 3 instead of 2. Keeping it at 6. What do you think?
Isn't... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought the cost was 5. It was 6.
It's 6.
It's 6. Because Jonathan pays down. Yeah.
So 6, and that last effect is increase the cost of all cards played at the site by 3. Now, I know we just looked at philosophical question for comparison.
Yeah, because philosophical question, if you consider those cards at their full cost, 4 CP to increase the cost by 2. And here we have basically 6.
And you can play face down.
I don't know. It's just
not unreasonable. Well, there's also the flesh.
The question is,
card, right?
Would you pay 6 CP to force your opponent to increase maybe the cost of one card by 3? Yeah, I guess.
Or 5 if I played it face down.
But yeah, it's like a philosophical question. It's either 4 or 3. So
yeah. Honestly, like, here's the thing with that one, and I've probably stated it previously. That third effect is inspired by the angry townspeople bluff of 1013 because of the fact that this is based on the episode's based on like the Frankenstein book/movie. So the thought of angry townspeople with pitchforks and stuff like that and torches, like as you saw at the end of the episode, that was the idea for that. And it's also kind of like when you look at the No One So Paranoid card, you've got a couple really good effects on there, and then you have that last one that you're like, I'm probably not really ever going to use that, except unless Jonathan, like that one time you actually did use No One So Paranoid for that one computer. But so then that last effect on Mad Scientist is almost like one that it's kind of like that buyer's effect where I'm like, I won't usually expect people to go that route. Not usually.
But it's there.
But it's there.
The thing is, if we want to compare it to philosophical question, I think we maybe also have to compare the first part of the effect, change the site prerequisite to sciences 3+. We have to compare it to Sheriff Taylor, and Sheriff Taylor costs 3. So maybe we can say, okay, we keep the cost at 6, increase the cost of cards by 3, but also maybe change the site prerequisite to sciences 4+. So that it's not the same as Sheriff Taylor. It's like for instance, you have Mad Scientist, which is an increased version of philosophical question. It costs more, and it offers more options. So if it's also an increased version of Sheriff Taylor, we should say, okay.
And it's also another Colonel Kissel.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you cannot negate twice the same thing. It's like
no. But yeah, I mean, the idea of this card is like the answer to No One So Paranoid. A card that gives you 3 options to choose from.
Yeah, so maybe say, okay, maybe put the cost at 5 and keep it as it is. So that means that compared to philosophical question, you still pay 1 more, and compared to Sheriff Taylor, you still pay 2 more. But you have, those 3 effects to choose from, so that's reasonable. Or you keep the cost at 6, and the effect is slightly more powerful than if you play Sheriff Taylor or philosophical question.
Yeah. And again, like the added cost also gets factored in because you're like, it's like having it's like the equivalent. Basically, this card is the equivalent of having a Colonel Kissel, a Sheriff Teller,
yeah,
and a
philosophical
question in your hand. This card is a combination of all those 3 cards in your hand rolled into one. So it's conserving your hand space in a way that you're like, okay, so this card can cater to several possibilities to get me out of this pesky site investigation, depending on what it is, depending on what it calls for. Whether it's a team that's heavy in sciences or a team that's not heavy in sciences, it has an answer to it. So it's kind of like it should get you out of it one way or the other. I say should, but there's going to be those instances where you have a non-sciences site being investigated and the team just happens to have some really good sciences. And then you might be like, well, I don't know, that last effect, I mean, is it really going to be worthwhile? You never know. Can't cover every situation under the sun. But yeah, it's like the card is providing a range of possibilities, not a decent range, not everything, but enough that it probably is going to have a way, like it did tonight when Jonathan played it. It was going to either be applicable if Guillaume brought his usual egghead team of like Scully, Pendrell, and everyone, or didn't.
I haven't used them in a while, so.
You have not. Yeah, because I've had you playtesting all these great cards that not always high in sciences sometimes, but not so much. Okay, so I think we're looking at either lower it to 5 and then and then keep it at play all cards play at the site, keep it at 2 and lower it to 5. That's one possibility. Or
I think, like with your latest argument, you've made a case for keep the cost at 6 and keeping it as it is, because
okay, but what about the 3, 2 or 3?
I'm pretty happy with the way it is.
Happy with the way it is?
Yeah.
It's good with sciences, with teams that are good on sciences or that are not good on sciences. And if you happen to stumble upon a team that does not fall into either of those 2 categories, you still get to increase the cost of cards by 2. And as you said, it's like the equivalent of having 3 different cards in your hand. So yeah, you know what? Keep it as it is.
Okay. Yeah. Just like No One So Paranoid is the equivalent of having a Langley, a Frohickey, and a Byers in your hand, and that's pretty powerful too, and hence why we shell out 5 every time that card comes up. Okay, so it sounds like, again, and it seems like, yeah, we're looking at keeping it at 6. Okay. I know I've had like this card come up in a number of playtests where I think it's come up and I throw it out there because I think it's one where I've always like, because obviously there's not as No One So Paranoid is the only precedent really for this card, and that's an RP card, you know. So I think I wanted to make sure that this, and anytime we're dealing with a card that costs like 6 or more, probably want to make sure to at least give it a consideration. It's like, is this a worthwhile one? But all right, so. And again, I wish I had my notes so I could recall who was it that brought it in question in previous playtest. But again, sorry guys, if all of you playtesters who have given me so much of your time, I hope I get my notes back. I hope I can recover them because it was such valuable information. But in the meantime,
otherwise you have the alternative of going back and rewatch every playtest game.
That is true. That is obviously that is nothing else.
If you fast forward, you can get to the part during the games when you come up to answer a question, and you can go straight to the end of the games. So
I could do that.
Theoretically, have to sit through all 30, 40 hours.
Yeah, and an average playtest game goes about 3 hours. This one actually was fairly quick, but Guillaume got a couple of good questions off that yielded a yes answer. So insanity. Once you get insanity, that's like there's almost nothing left on the checklist.
No, it was I forget which one it was. It was the
subterfuge.
Yeah.
Oh, subterfuge, not insanity. Yeah. But yeah, it was a heck of a round of great questions getting thrown out. So we'll keep thinking over the The bargaining chip one is one that we'll link. We'll mull that one over for a bit. We'll sleep on it. Other playtesters coming up, if they play that card, I'm gonna obviously be like, all right, guys, what do you think we got to do about this? And here we've got a worst case scenario. What if someone plays maintain deniability while that card is in play? Very unlikely, as Guillaume said, because someone would have to be pulling from all of the expansions, which is not unheard of. I mean, I would imagine if most people who have Season 5 probably have Season 4 in their possession, and so at least that pool is available to them. It'll be interesting if that proves to not be the case, where someone was like, hey, I kind of took a pass on Season 4, it didn't appeal to me, but I'm really liking those cards that I see in Season 5. I'd be interested to know if that proves to be the case for anyone once these cards are released. So thank you guys again for helping to keep the momentum going for this playtest process. It can seem a little tedious and repetitive at times, and the games tend to go a little longer, which when you're playing it late at night might be a little problematic. But hopefully we can get some more in, because we might have some pressing questions about one particular card, that only come up, but still worthwhile.
And there are two cards that I really wanted to play this. I really wanted to play Interagency Luncheon, because that would have worked. And the one card that I had 2 copies of it, and I had witnesses for it as well. I wanted to play All Lies Lead to the Truth, and it was actually like 2 cards. I was almost about to draw it, so I really want to.
We need that card play tested so bad. Because
I tried.
we modified that. Yeah, thank you for including that. Thank you. Please, everyone who's playtesting, please include that card in there. That is one that I really put Dax through the ringer with modifications on that one before we even got to playtesting. And Dax, if you're ever watching this video, I feel really bad about that. It was a lot of modifications and it's a lot of text. And we got to make sure that one is actually is sound. I mean, it's very hypertextual, but the effect I think is kind of cool and worthy of a inclusion in here. But
yes, absolutely.
I need others to weigh in on that and tell me if they agree. So I think my computer screen froze for a moment. You guys are still with?
Yes. Oh no.
Yeah, we see your green screen.
Yeah. Steven's gone now. Well, that was a fun game. I really enjoyed it.
One thing it shows is that it's very hard to play from one season against multiples.
Yeah, and even building the deck, I kept pulling cards, and I think like my deck was so tall. I had so much cards, so I was lucky enough to draw some of the cards that I actually needed. My fear was that I had not included as many side cards as I would need, and I was afraid they would not come up. Thankfully, that was not the case.
I had the same concern. I think my deck was right at 100 cards. And there was 2 reasons for that. I mean, I went and picked out everything that I couldn't use first, but then I also wanted to try to include as many Season 5 cards as possible, just to get a play. But I know I think I had 17, so I did okay with sides. I got sides to play every turn, but I was running them about as thin as you can run them.
Yeah, and sometimes you have like 2 sides in your hand, and you can only play one, and you have to discard the other one for some reason, and then you just cannot draw them for 10 or 15 cards. So, yeah, that is the one drawback of the game, and I think it's true of every card game. You can build your deck as good as you can, but then you're at the mercy of how good or of whatever card comes up and how good you shuffled.
Well, that's one of the greatest things about this game. You can have the best deck ever built, and then somebody gets a good guess on a question, and boom.
That is true.
That was a ugly situation there. I had like not the blue screen of death, but a blue screen of death. came up on there, which is weird. It even had a QR code and everything. That was sorry about that, guys. So anyway,
so the recording
what's that, Jonathan? Sorry,
the recording did get interrupted. It kept working on our end.
No, it looks like it's still good, but yeah, we'll see when we sign off. Guillaume might have to bring in his phone. Well, no, it says his table's complete actually, so I think you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
good.
Now every time every time we end the game, I just shut down StreamYard on my phone, and so that way you can upload immediately.
Yeah, and then it's also removing it from the main screen, that way it's not recording it at this point in time. So that's why I take them backstage too, so that way there's less upload time for our tables, which I know in Jonathan's case and in mine now, especially now that Jonathan, you got that new camera, which is going to be like mine, where it does seem like the uploads are going to take a lot longer. Yeah, but hey, we're about to go to sleep anyway, so by the time you wake up in the morning, ideally should be more or less uploaded. All right, so let's see what else, Jonathan. What do we need to plug? What's coming up next? Winter Slam's still a couple of weeks away, but
what is it? 2.5, 3 weeks? 3 weeks.
Yeah,
is it 3?
A couple of weekends from now. Yeah, February 22nd. You're gonna want to check that out.
Mike Perrine asked if you're going to Files Fest.
Oh,
I think Guillaume was reluctant to.
No.
He's like, no.
No, it's like I would love to go, but yeah, it costs so much to. I traveled to New York last September, so yeah, it costs quite a lot of money, which I had saved for, but yeah, 2 trips to the States in a year's time. Yeah, I think that might be too much for me.
I've got
and to say nothing about the fact that going to File Fest is expensive alone just for the people who live here in the States. So, it's costly. But Jonathan's doing a lot of legwork on that to get us there to put on our demo and promote the X-Files CCG while we're there. So yeah, kudos to you on that, Jonathan. So more details on that later on in the year. That's in September, and there's a lot of 2025 to go before we get there. So yeah, Winter Slam's coming up next in a couple of weeks, just February 22nd. This channel, but also Chasing the Dragon channel, as well as the Studio Squim channel. Maybe Matt and Mike's X-Files CCG. Right now, there's nothing in the books on there yet.
You might want to look at,
but ideally,
some of the guys talking about practice games on various games. So that might be something to plug. Let everybody know about. A lot of guys are looking to try to do some practice games for the games that are going to be played on Winterfest.
Yes. Yeah, John Wood talked to me about doing that for Scooby-Doo, but then we just wound up scheduling the game that day. So he doesn't need practice against me. He's gonna destroy me handily at Scooby-Doo because I've only played it one time and I lost that game. So if anything, he's gonna have the advantage going into that one. So Alien Investigations, for my part, I can tell you we're hosting 3 games that day. The first one is a X-Files VX system, and I think Jonathan, is that you and Alistair?
Yes.
That sounds right. It's early in the day.
Yeah, that should be good.
Me too. I've never seen that played. Oh. Second game is that David Peace and I are going to do an encore to WCW Full Impact, which is hanging right here up on my wall. That's a Journeyman Press, which was the company that continued making card games after the X-Files CCG went belly up. So a lot of same involved in this game went on to make other games. We're paying some tribute to those that were working for Journeyman Press by playing some of these games, including Scooby-Doo, which is going to be the follow-up game right after we finish WCW Full Impact on February 22nd. Then I'm going to square off with John Wood in a game of Scooby-Doo Expandable Card Game, which is the spiritual successor of X-Files CCG. So that's going to be, a double header, and it's going to just pick up right where, as soon as I finish my game with Dave, I'm not even cutting the broadcast. Like, John Wood, you're in. David, you're now commentary guy. So that's how it's going to roll for that one. It's going to be a fun day. So check it out. It's going to be, again, on across at least 3 channels for sure. Unless we get more scheduled in there. It's going to be a hell of a day. Set your dials.
And there should be a discussion about the game on Friday night, maybe, correct?
I hope so. On Studio Squim, I really, really, like you, Guillaume, have a lot I want to talk about, unveil, and get people excited about some of the other stuff that's coming up in this big fan-made X-Files CCG project that our communities put it on. There's still more to come. We're not just doing season expansions like we are. We're doing other stuff with this game, and we're going to be unveiling some of that ideally on February 21st, and that's going to ideally be on Studio Squim. If we can get a time set that at least the 4 of us are going to be available as we usually are, sort of. That'll be fun. So tune in for that because, there's some great stuff to come that are going to be unveiled whenever we do get that that discussion panel going. All right. So I think that's about it for this one. Nothing in the books yet, but we'll certainly get some more games going, more playtests, ideally. Guillaume, we've only ever seen you play like one playtest game. We've only ever seen you play one sealed deck game. That was way back when. I think it was like episode 9 on my channel, or maybe episode 8. So long ago. We need to get you some sealed product. I know it's very hard for you to get over there.
Yeah. Well, as I was talking about with Steven before the recording, like taxes when you buy something from the United States, like it's crazy now. Jonathan, I bought just one season 9 trading card that I was missing, and that card I bought it off eBay, and it cost $6. I had to pay $14 for shipping plus $5 in taxes, so that's like $25 for just one card. And then when I received the card, I went to the post office yesterday, and I had to pay $10 extra for import taxes. Like when you factor in the cost of the card, the taxes
like $30 to get that one card.
So I really wanted that.
God,
it was one season 9 trading card, a chase card that I was missing, but like I could not understand how you go from a $6 cards to paying $30 total for it. But it is what it is.
So I can ship you stuff. Do you have to pay all that?
Yeah, so I asked because I actually phoned customs because I was curious to know how they, came up with that rate. And so they include the cost of the item, but also the cost of shipping. And the total of that is what they're basing their method. The import tax is based on that, the cost of the item and the cost of shipping. So since shipping already costs so much from the United States now, to come from France. So yeah, that was $25 total, and they based their calculation on those $25 that I paid.
So even if I send you something for free,
so yeah, if you want to
charge you,
I think the thing is there is a custom form on the package or on the envelope, and there's a box that says gift. So I think if that box is checked, normally there aren't any import taxes, but a few years ago, Dax sent me one of the Gen Con cards. He sent it to me from England. It was regular mail, regular stamp. And when the mailman came, I had to pay €10 to get my envelope anyway. So I think anything that is not coming from France or from Europe, it seems like it's crazy.
Yeah. So, but that's an idea, Jonathan. If you feel like you have so much sealed product that you want to send, how great would it be to have you and Guillaume square off in a sealed game?
That's probably my best shot.
I would love to see that.
This
Yeah,
is the first
because
game Guillaume and I have ever played.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
and
had
so
not
that means
played
we got to get a sealed game at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
Guillaume, it was so long ago, and yeah, it's just been it's so hard getting anything to you over there. Well, at least if you're looking on eBay or Amazon,
And
because again,
even if I want to buy something from Europe or from France, there aren't any sealed products here. I did manage to buy a few premier booster packs. They were like €2 per pack. So that was a pretty good deal for here. But otherwise, you find boxes that are already opened, and some people are just selling mostly like bunch of cards, but I don't think they know the value of what they are selling. Like they are selling maybe 50 commons and uncommons, and it's like €25, so like $30. So who would pay that much for those cards?
Junk.
Yeah.
Well, I think the next time though, Guillaume, if you do come to the States, I think you should have a very light and empty travel bag. So right, you can load up on stuff here, right? And
Well,
then or would you have to go through customs and they have to look at everything you're bringing back?
No, last year we just when we left, nothing was checked. Oh, they did open the bags at some point, but they just put everything back as it was. It has already happened, but no, I did not have. I only bought a few used books and T-shirts and stuff like that, but no custom there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I if there's only some way he comes to the States and then we're like, here, let's send you all this product while you're here,
Yeah,
so that way he can take it back.
I actually considered placing a few orders before I arrived, so that because I knew the address of the Airbnb where I would be staying, but I was like, okay, can I ask the person who is running this, like, okay, if there is a package that comes for me, like, can you just keep? It just seemed like too much to ask to someone that I didn't know, and it also relying on the fact that the package actually arrives during the 5 or 6 days that I'm actually there. So I was like, too much pressure and too much stress. So no.
Guillaume, have you ever looked at Icelandic Air?
For what? For airplane?
Yeah.
No.
I had a buddy. He flies from New York to Europe, quite a bit. And part of the trip is you have to go to Iceland.
Okay.
Not direct, which me personally, I don't mind because that's a long flight. I don't mind breaking it up. But basically, he would fly to Iceland and then fly on to Europe, and it was like 1/3 the price. Because when I flew the last time I flew to Europe, it was $1,500 per person round trip. It was so for 3 of us, it was $4,500.
Oh yeah. I think for when I came to New York last year, how much did we pay? I can't remember if it's for the 2 tickets or for 1. Yeah, so no, I'm not going. I don't know. I'll have to check how much I paid for those tickets. Yeah, so it was basically $650 for the trip back, and for the to go and to go there and to come
round
back.
Trip.
Yeah, $650. So not that well. I mean, if you consider it, like, I don't know, it does not seem that expensive when you consider how much distance you're actually traveling and how fast you are getting there. Yeah, when you factor in the cost of you have the plane, you have the hotel room, you also have like the parking at the airport to keep your car while you are away, you factoring the food, you factoring everything else. It's like, yeah, it can easily go big quite fast. So yeah.
Oh, I know. We went to Italy
Right.
2 years ago, I think, and we flew from Nashville to JFK, JFK to Rome. That was almost $5,000, and then we stayed there. I rented an apartment at the top of the building for 2 weeks. That was actually not bad. That was $1,000. We did pretty good. I did the whole trip for about $8,500 until my wife went to Louis Vuitton. And then after that it was bad.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But we got the VAT tax back. At least we got that.
Yeah, no, that would be quite something if we had Guillaume at File Fest as well, and David Peace too. You know, that would be something.
Why is it
to
David?
have them for this?
Why isn't David come?
Oh well, you know, it is very costly. It is why I'm like
Where's he at?
He's in Washington State, but you know, like me, it's costly. It adds up. You know, we have such a finite amount of discretionary funds, and it's but I'm motivated, very motivated to get out there again. There's lots I want to be able to take in this time, and of course, have some more laughs and play some more X-Files CCG with you guys. So that, of course, is going to be the big motivator to get me out there this September. So provided everything aligns right, which it's early, but I'm hopeful, very optimistic. Would not want to miss it. I would be very, very, very remiss to not be present. So yeah, let's hope that pans out. So anyway, guys, I do apologize. My Wi-Fi has just been in rare form tonight. But before it kicks me off again, I think we'll just sign off for this broadcast. And again, I want to thank you both for putting these cards through the ringer. It's been very productive, and I hope we'll see you guys do some more playtests before we call it wraps. Gentlemen, parting words before we sign off.
It was a great game, and I was glad to finally play with Jonathan.
Yes, it was fun. I'm glad we finally get to do one.
Excellent. Well said. And we'll see you next time on another edition of Alien Investigations. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. So